everybody. Talking today about working from home and some of the opportunities that could possibly present for women, getting more women into the tech field. Nancy Wang is the CEO of Awip, which is a nonprofit that stands for Advancing Women in Product. Nancy, thanks for being with us here today.
Well, thank you so much, Karen, for having me.
Absolutely. So this is such an important topic, obviously, very near and dear to my heart, and obviously yours as well. So why don't you just give us, for those that aren't familiar, just a quick little introduction to your nonprofit, your organization, and what you guys do.
Absolutely. So AWIP, or Advancing Women in Product, was started in 2017. And the purpose behind AWIP is really to create a community for women who are already in product or engineering roles. So targeting mid to senior career level women and other minorities who want to advance to the executive levels. Because, especially when you go to college, right? It's do this, follow this, and you'll land a job in big tech. But as soon as you get there, right, what is the next step? How do you move up the career ladder? And I realized that for each woman, the experience is incredibly unique and individual. However, there are certain milestones, there are certain skills that one needs to acquire in order to be eligible for an executive role. And that's really what we do, is we provide skills-based workshops, we provide executive coaching and sponsorship through our ambassador community. And then lastly, we take all of those learnings and share them with our corporate sponsors, partners, as well as NGO organizations. So the really unique thing about Awip is that we are a collection of over 140 full-time practitioners in the field directly. So we give real-time and real-life examples to help our members. So for example, full-time, I am a service leader at Amazon Web Services, where I lead an organization of over 50 engineers, product managers, and designers. But Awip is how I leverage my full-time skills to provide that coaching and learning to our members.
Excellent. And when we talk about, the working from home opportunities now that so many of us are working from home, uh, you know, talk about how women are impacted and how you see this potentially as a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I recently wrote an article about how COVID, when, if not, for example, adjusted in the right way, could lead to a pink collar recession, right? And some of those findings are, for example, traditionally women are responsible for taking care of the household, taking care of the children. But what I'm finding actually more and more these days directly from our members is that they are now receiving help from their spouses, from their family members, and all of that is contributing to their ability to give it their all in their work, right? And so part of that then also leads to their ability to move up the career ladder. So that's actually a positive outcome that I'm finding out from the COVID period.
And for working from home, Nancy, does it seem, especially when we talk about in technical roles, um, is this something that before you feel like was really difficult for women, especially, or kind of explain what that was like for women?
Yeah, absolutely. Working from home and being a manager myself, right? So there are certain things that for example, when a woman is giving birth or when a woman needs to take care of young children, right? Sometimes that necessitates that she work from the home during certain periods. I know that a lot of folks and a lot of organizations are working towards more flexible work hours, and I do think that's a good thing because ultimately we should be a meritocracy where workers are evaluated based on their output and their achievements rather than face time or what traditional industry calls butts and seats, right? I'm not a firm believer of that, and I'm glad to see that policies are changing. With that said, however, nothing does replace face time with leadership. So sometimes there could be hallway conversations or mini catch-up sessions after large meetings, for example. And if you work from home, you're naturally going to be absent from that. So what COVID has actually done, to my earlier point, is really level the playing field because now everyone's remote, right? You can no longer have, hey, let's go chat, 2 minutes about X before the meeting, right? And that's really where studies show some of the kind of backroom dealings or decisions really get made. And so women, in my opinion, now just have an equal chance to make themselves heard and be part of that decision-making process.
Very good. And how do you see, Nancy, when you look? I mean, obviously, this pandemic wasn't, this was not something any of us could see coming. So things have had to change rapidly, and we're in the middle of it still as companies are shuffling things around and trying to figure out how to best work through this. So, what do you see, just a couple of months from now, how things will continue to evolve as companies are changing in light of the pandemic, and how will that overall be good for women?
Yeah, absolutely. So, speaking to some of the corporate sponsors that AWIP works with, including VMware and of course Amazon, among other companies, is that we find that companies who have distributed offices are now bring all of those offices together. And especially one of the phenomenon that's resulting from COVID is, I'm sure you heard, gig economy. So one of our partners, her name is Jara Houston. She's a founder and CEO of a partner organization of AWIPS called Wharton Alumni Founders and Funders. And she herself is a founder of an organization called Work Wild, that's COSLA backed, that focuses on gig economy, right? And so just from talking to her as well as other founders in this space, what I'm seeing is that women who have specialized skills, whether it's in IT or engineering or design or marketing, are better able to apply those skills because, like I said, COVID has really leveled the playing field that is more about output and achievements rather than face time, right? So everyone is now assessed more so, and I can speak that from my own perspective, on what they output. So for example, even on my own team currently, we do have contract workers, right? And so for those contract workers, I assess them the exact same way as I would assess a full-time employee, right? How many deliverables have you produced over the last, let's say, evaluation period? What is that quality of that deliverable? And so once you remove the full-time versus contract distinction, and that lines become blurred, that's where women who tend to traditionally tend to go towards more gig economy roles, because it allows them that flexibility to take care of household or take care of their family, are now given an equal opportunity to advance their career.
Excellent. Well, leveling the playing field, that's a good thing. Something I know we've all been hoping for, and certainly you've been working towards. Nancy, we appreciate you being here with us today, and I think it'd be great, to check back in with you, say in a couple of months, just to kind of see how things are going, and some of the experiences that you have witnessed with some of those that you work with. In closing here, what is your even a year from now, what is your hope or kind of vision that you would like to see for this particular sect of women here that we're talking about? What do you hope for them?
What I hope for them is that they feel supported and feel like they have just as much of an opportunity to advance their careers, whether they are gig economy, whether they are independent contractor, or whether they are full-time, right? So again, removing that distinction. And so for the women watching this, I really encourage you to check out our chapters as well as our online community of over 16,000, where we have resources on how to advance your career and how to gain some of those skills that hiring managers will look for in executive roles.
Very good. All right, Nancy, thanks again for being with us. And for all of you guys, of course, you check out Tech Republic for much more on this, and for more information on AWIP as well. We can direct them to your website there, Nancy. And we appreciate all of you watching today.